Most creators think intros fail because they're too slow. But that's not the real problem. You lose viewers because one part of the chain breaks, and there are 4 parts. The click, the first line, the second line, and the transition. And the first one starts before your video even begins. The first part is the click. That moment right there, when your video appears on the YouTube homepage, is actually already part of the intro. Because before someone clicks, they're already deciding what they think the video is about. The thumbnail tells them what kind of video this is, and the title tells them what's going to happen. So by the time they click, they're already going to have a picture in their head of what they expect to see. And your opening has to prove that picture right immediately. And this is where loads of creators get it backwards. They think, I'll script the video, I'll film it, I'll edit it, and then, oh, I need to do a title and a thumbnail. But your packaging isn't something that you add on at the end. It's the first part of your intro. Because if nobody clicks, then none of the rest of the video matters. And YouTube makes this even more important with autoplay. When you hover over a video on the YouTube homepage, autoplay kicks in. It shows the viewer a few seconds of your video before they've even committed to watching it. So the very first frame of your video isn't actually just the start of your intro. It's actually a complete sales pitch to someone on the homepage deciding whether they want to watch it or not. If someone sees a hyped, high-energy thumbnail and then the preview is just a slow-paced shot, they don't click. And this is where that mismatch absolutely kills retention. And the biggest creators avoid all of this by being really intentional. They match the first frame of the video with the thumbnail. It really does make sense. Take Nico Omalana and his turning 1 penny into £1 million video. If the thumbnail shows him holding up a penny, the very first frame of that video matches it perfectly. He's not warming up, he's not easing into it. He's giving the viewer exactly what they clicked on that thumbnail for, delivering on that expectation immediately. Because your opening few seconds confirms to the viewer what they have clicked matches the video they're about to see. Your title and thumbnail aren't separate to your intro, they are part of it. They set the expectation and your opening shot delivers on it. And now you hit the moment that decides whether the viewer actually stays. Your first line. The purpose of the first line is super simple. It's to reassure the viewer that they've clicked on the right video. If the first line they hear doesn't match up with the title and thumbnail that they clicked for, they'll leave. And if we go back to Nico's example, his title sets out one clear expectation, turning a penny into £1 million. And do you know what his very first line is?
This is a penny, and this is £1 million.
Your first line should echo the title, and I don't mean copy it word for word, but it should take the same idea, the same direction, and the same promise. The viewer has already seen the title, you've won their click, and the first line's job is to say, yes, this video is exactly that. To show you the difference this makes, I'm going to show you a quick before and after based on Nico's example. So the before might be, so in this video, I'm going to try a challenge where I turn 1 penny into £1 million. Nico opens with, this is a penny, and this is £1 million. That echoes the title and confirms the click immediately. And if your first line does that, you'll instantly improve retention in the first few seconds of your video. And once you've earned that second line of attention, that's where a lot more creators fall apart. So let's talk about the second line and why it's actually the key to keeping people from that 5-second mark way past the 30-second mark, which is so important. The second line has 3 jobs. It's to give direction, to set the stakes, and to pull the viewer deeper into the video. This is the moment where the viewer essentially decides, is this video going somewhere? You'll hear lines like,
and this is just one of many dangerous and extreme laser mazes that we built for this video.
Basically, these lines all do the same thing. They create momentum. They tell the viewer what's coming next, and they raise the stakes. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine the video title is, I tried to cook a perfect steak for the first time. This would be the first line. I've never cooked a steak properly, so today I'm finally trying. That confirms the click. But now listen to the second line. And if I mess this up, I can't afford to buy another one. That's direction. That's the stakes. And that's momentum. And again, Nico does this brilliantly too.
And I'm not going to stop until I make £1 million just to give it away to someone who truly deserves it.
That second line does everything. It shows you that there's going to be a journey. It sets the stakes that there's a challenge, and it deepens the hook. He's going to give it away. Why? To who? You have all these questions as a viewer. And And that's how you pull someone in deeper without dragging out your intro. So let's take the structure behind that and make it super simple. Direction plus stakes creates momentum. If the viewer knows where the video is going and what happens if it fails, their brain leans forward. Direction on its own is boring. Stakes on their own are confusing. Put them together and you get momentum. That's the rule. Once you understand this, writing second lines stops becoming guesswork. So think of it like this. Your first line confirms the click, and then the second line shows them the path. And only then, once you've set out that path clearly, can you then transition into the body of the video, the main section. Bad transitions can look like a logo sequence, a welcome back message, or a word from our sponsor, or even just something as simple as a weird pause. All of these can kill retention and actually disconnect the viewer from the hook that you've just worked so hard to build. The transition should feel invisible. It shouldn't feel like the intro has come to an end. It should feel like the intro naturally becomes the rest of the video. Name the first step and then immediately start it. No gap, no breath, no tonal shift, just straight into the content. After his first line and he's setting the stakes, Nico doesn't cut to a title card or waffle for 10 seconds. He gets straight out and cuts straight to him attempting to make money, which is exactly what he's promised in the intro. And that's the key, because if the viewer feels a pause, a gap, their attention is able to be diverted somewhere else on screen, then they'll click away. So by ending your intro with what happens next and then immediately cutting to it, this tiny detail will make your intro feel intentional, confident and fast, and it'll carry that momentum that you've built in the intro through into the rest of the video. And that momentum is everything, because once the viewer feels like the video is moving forward, and more specifically they get past that 30-second mark, they'll follow you into almost anything. They've committed. So let's recap. We've broken your intro into 4 parts. You've got getting the click, then reaffirming the click, then setting the stakes, and then the transition into the body. But none of that matters if you can't pull it all together properly. You can still lose people if the way you've put it together is boring, overly slow or flat. Let me show you an example of this done properly. This is a Ryan Trahan video titled, "How Many Days Can I Survive in an Abandoned Mall?" He starts in his home office, not with action, but with a bit of context. And within 1 second, he's already moving us forward from why malls mattered, to why they're abandoned, to the idea that he's about to live inside it. Around 40 seconds in, we already know the goal. He's opening a store, he's locking himself inside, and he's not leaving until it hits 1,000 visitors. And look what doesn't happen. There's no title card, no logo, no, okay, here's the plan. The intro doesn't stop, it flows straight into the bulk of the video, and that's why this never feels boring, slow, or flat. Not because it's fast, but because it never gives the viewer a reset point. The intro is the video.
All right, we're officially open.
Ryan shows this working in a slow, story-led setup, but when the idea is simple, everything has to hit instantly, and that's where Nico nails it. You see the penny, you see the energy, and then you see him out in the real world almost immediately. And that's why it works, even when the video is on mute on the homepage. So when you're writing the intro, you don't just write the words that you're going to physically say. You want to write the shots. Let's look at Outdoor Boys. This has genuinely become one of my favorite channels on YouTube. When this video shows up on the homepage, you see the title, 14 days hunting, fishing, and crabbing in Florida, and the thumbnail of Luke holding an alligator. That combination is making a very clear promise. Now watch what happens when the video actually starts. The very first frame is Luke holding that exact alligator, and then within the first 8 seconds you've already seen him hunting snakes, fishing, throwing the alligator in the back of the truck, and crabbing. So if someone hovers over this video on the homepage, even on mute, they can instantly see that they haven't been misled. The title and thumbnail promise something, and the first few seconds are deliberately crafted to deliver it. Go through your intro line by line and write down a visual for every idea. That will become your shot list. And then there's pacing, because viewers don't ultimately just care about what you show. They care about how fast and how quickly you show it. In the first 20 seconds, you're essentially competing against every video in the sidebar. So you basically want to front load your video with interest, whether that be a variety of different shots, different angles, maybe some new interesting information. And you want to do that every couple of seconds. But if you sit with a talking headshot for 20 seconds and nothing to cut away to, then you're not going to get very far. If you want to do a brutal test, watch your intro on mute. See, does it look interesting? Can you figure out what the video is about from what you're watching? Cut anything that feels like dead air. Speed anything up that's slow. If you repeat yourself, cut it right down. So remember, every intro has 4 parts: the click, the first line, the second line, and the transition. And when those 4 pieces work together, your intro stops losing viewers and starts pulling them deeper into the video.